let's say, 3 sections. I tap on Door-to-Door Geek section, and it tells me the weather for today, how is the traffic on my route, how much longer do I have to leave to work, what kind of appointments I have today, yada yada. My wife sees hers, my kids see stuff they have to do. And then later in the day, we come home from work and I hit the Door Geek thing, and then it says, okay, tonight you have to do Linux for the rest of us. This show is coming on that you like, and it can give you another display based on the time of day. Now you take that concept and then you explode it by you saying you could have as many devices around the house as you want, each of them having their own profiles to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
This one over by the television set can be a touchscreen thing showing me the remote control for something, and it can just expand. I listened to that cast again, and I definitely can see piggybacking on his thoughts and trying to do something.
Wow. The future is here.
Yeah, and I love how he not only thinks Nightwise, but how even in audio, the passion of expression, how you can tell he really would like to have this kind of thing.
Really? I gotta check it out.
Yeah. And he did one time invite me on his show and then last minute cancel, but he's still a really nice guy.
It's nice of you to say that.
I know. And it doesn't matter. He could do anything. I'll still download all his casts and listen. Okay. Next thing. I saw this, Steve, and I was almost giddy. Okay.
Yes.
GNU Linux Northeast Fest. Man, that's really wrong. Northeast GNU Linux Fest is happening March 17th, 17th, up in Worcester, which I can't pronounce, Massachusetts. And Jonathan Nadeau was on a TV show up there called Soapbox.
Cool.
I gotta say, people need to listen to this cast. Even if you have no intention at all in going, just listen to Jonathan in an open forum expressing what computers mean to him, how important his family is to him, what is the goal of this fest kind of thing. I honestly had a lot of fun listening to it. I'll say the interviewer ain't the best in the world. He's a nice guy, obviously. Jonathan, on the other hand, home run. He did fantastic as far as I'm concerned.
Can we play a little bit of it?
Oh, I don't see why not. It's not PBS, but public television. So yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Soapbox. My name is Mauro Di Pasquale. Soapbox is produced right here at WCCA TV 13, the People's Channel. I'm glad you're joining us. You have many channels to pick from, and you're choosing WCCA TV 13, the People's Channel. We're Worcester's
Skip in 2 minutes.
community public access television station, and we're the only place in town.
Yeah, he's not good. What? How far do you want me to go? Just a few minutes? Are you muted, Dor?
Sorry, I was. Yeah, about 2 minutes, because he just goes on about the network and everything.
What a ding-dong. All right, here we go.
Outreach and connect as well. And we're glad to be able to provide whatever service we can. So WCCA TV.
All right, that's 2 minutes. Let's go, Mari? Whatever his name is. Here we go.
Talk about your family life, your background, and you're blind.
Yes.
So we could talk about that too. So tell us a little bit about your past, your family life and stuff.
Well, I wasn't born blind. I got in a car accident at the age of 14, which led me to lose my sight in that car accident, and my life drastically changed that day. And I started taking a different path that day after the accident. I had a normal life like every other kid. I lost my sight at the age of 14, like I said. Then at the age of 15, my father had passed away, and at the age of 18, my mother had passed away. So I've been blind for 4 years and living on my own at the age of 18. And I ended up meeting my wife shortly after that. We got married, and we have 3 awesome kids, and I have a lovely wife. And I currently am a student at Worcester State University, and hopefully I'll be graduating in the fall semester coming up. And I guess that's about it. A quick overview of my life.
Yeah. Well,
I did not even know that about Jonathan. That's it makes sense to me now why Jonathan is so effective, because he was forced to be at a young age. I mean, that really says a lot for the man. I mean, it makes more sense. And if you guys want to check out the show, let's just give the website door, and definitely we'll plug Jonathan's Fest. First of all, what date is the fest?
March 17th, positively.
Wow, that's coming right up, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Damn, I didn't know it was so soon. All right. And the website is wccatv.com. Check out Jonathan. I do agree that he's a much better television personality than Mauro De Pasquale, the host. Sorry, Mauro. Yeah. You just need a little bit of work. That's all right.
Well, and obviously he doesn't have a cough button.
Yeah, but it's great. That's great for Jonathan for getting on there and getting the exposure, and I hope it's a great fest.
Oh, I have very little doubt it's going to be phenomenal. Mad Dog is the opening speaker, and I'll say this: at Ohio Linux Fest, I heard at least 4 to 5 people who've been involved with Linux for years basically come out and say outright, right in front of me, they're not going to go watch him talk, because once you've seen him talk, you've seen him talk, you've seen him talk. I can watch him talk once a week for the rest of my life, kind of thing, because he is inspiring. He is probably the least selfish person I think I've heard with that amount of respect in the normal circles. His real goal is utterly power to the people. Bring every bit of bring everything back to the people, from your internet access to your computer hardware and your computer software and everything in between.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Good for getting him.
Yeah, and then I have just one quick follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Ubuntu for Android. If you listened to last week's cast, you noticed basically I was on an emotional roller coaster when we were talking about this. Really high, and then towards the end, it started teetering off a little bit when some realizations came to mind. And then we did Droid Nation the very following night, where Jonathan, pulled out his conductor hat and he went on a tantrum, rolling through stuff kind of thing. Here's the only thing I'll say as far as this audience is concerned. It's not going to be good for long term, this Ubuntu for Android. It's going to be what it looks like, a very closed system that we as people will not be able to get. We will have to buy specific hardware, and those specific pieces of hardware, those manufacturers will have to deal with Canonical on a individual basis to get the software on the phone. So even if it becomes really popular, and 6 out of 10 phones that come out next year has it, we as the end users will still not have control over that Linux. It will still be cool, I would still want it in my pocket, but it's going to be, I don't want to say closed source. It's going to be what I believe Jonathan calls open core, which is not open source, which is not free software. As far as the straights go, the businessman kind of thing, this could still be a useful, functional, cool thing. But as far as the Linux enthusiast goes, it's only going to be partially cool.
I see. Well, at least they're doing it, and now there's like a pattern for others to follow, so maybe other companies will come out with it. Cool stuff like this.
That's what me and Ellis and Josh kept saying. Here's the pluses to it. It hasn't been done before.
Right.
So they are putting their necks out and setting a path.
Right.
2, how many times will somebody see something and then let's say either a friend, kid, whatever, will see it who's a little bit more tech savvy and want to look into it and see what it is. So it could bring new Linux users in. So that's a plus. It could make Ubuntu into a publicly accessible gateway drug, if you will.
Sure.
So that could be good too. So it's not all bad at all. You know what I mean? It's just what it is.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. I wanted to shoot this link out there real quick because I've been on a mental crusade trying to find a good list of what to run on bad hardware. And by bad, I just mean more than 4 to 5 years old. Not all of us has, quad core boxes with 16 gigs of RAM and a $400 video card like Mr. Barry in Canada. Obviously, hardware costs less when you're not in a free culture, but I digress. And I found this article on Make Tech Easier, best lightweight Linux distributions for older computers. And I will say their number one is Puppy Linux, and it should be Puppy Linux. I will say that. Puppy probably does the best job of making things as easy as possible while you're still in this stripped down operating system. There are definitely plenty of things Puppy cannot do, but they're not immense. One example I give is Tux Paint. Tux Paint is a painting kids application that my kids love. I could not get it to load on Puppy to save anything. I couldn't get it.
Okay.
So there is certain software that either will be very hard to get installed or you just cannot get installed. But it's definitely worth checking out because if your software is available for this, it is lightning fast.
It can be run on a computer with as low as Pentium 2 processor and 128 megs of RAM.
Yep.
Crazy.
And that's pretty low.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
I think my last phone probably could meet that. And then number 2 on the list is SLIDAZ. I'm not going to say SLIDAZ is easier or more versatile than Puppy. I will say in the last year, SLIDAZ has made a lot more advancements in that regard than Puppy. SLIDAZ is very, very close, in my eyes, to being a full-featured Linux operating system where almost anybody can do almost anything in it with very little issues.
Okay.
Of course, there's always caveats to that. If you go to slidaz.org and you either look at their documentation or their handbook is quite interesting. Their handbook tells you how to do things. I believe it was the handbook. Where it would tell you how to download. No, it was the other one. I'm sorry. The documentation. They have a part called the TAS package examples. Basically, you can get a deb package from Ubuntu or Debian, or you can get an RPM package from Red Hat, OpenSUSE, or whatever. Copy it down to a SLIDAZ computer, run a TAS package command against it, and convert it to the SLIDAZ format, and it will try to install it. It's not always successful, but in my experience, because I had it running on this box here for well over 2 months, more than 80% successful, worked like a charm. And I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was really close to being my full-time desktop.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and then of course they have DSL Linux, which I find to be cumbersome and complicated to use. That's me, not you. And then Xenix, I've never heard of before. Could be cool. Yeah, and I'll say with SLIDAZ, with a total download size of less than 30 megabytes.